Welcome to Cineights, where you get to know the best movies and series. Today's video is about the best emotional breakup movies. I hope you enjoy this video. Be sure to watch until the end. Please subscribe to the channel and like the video. 6 years 2015, a common thread among young love. Diverging paths are usually the root of emotional breakups. 6 years features Tessa Farmiga and Ben Rosenfield as Melanie and Dan, college students whose romance begins to unravel after a 6-year relationship, turning toxic. Earning a respectable reception from critics, audiences were not impressed with this romance. 6 Years is a film about first love and how excruciating it can be to let it go, being one of the must-see movies about heartbreak. Mel and Dan hit highs and lows as their journey begins to separate, but they are unwilling to let go despite moments of unfaithfulness and violence. For any viewer who's experienced first love and lost it through or after college, this film will hit you right in the ugly cry zone. The Breakup 2006 baited with the comedy, Hooked by the Ugly Cry. While it's no cinematic highlight in the eyes of general critics or audience consensus, The Breakup does project a realistic look at what a very common type of breakup looks like. Following a blowout breakup, Brooke and Gary plot to keep the condo they jointly purchased from the other, escalating tactics as the movie progresses. The death of this relationship forces out the deepest ugly cry as this couple is desperate to hope the other will change in the ways necessary to keep their relationship together. Throughout the fights and the early breakup scene, Aniston and Vaughn have it out in the most honest, realistic way as a couple in the movie, mirroring what many couples go through after getting comfortable in a long-term relationship. If this type of breakup is something you've had to go through, this should be considered essential viewing. Someone Great 2019. After a bold career move forces a devastating breakup for Jenny, her best friends band together to spend one more epic night in New York before their lives change for good. In a heartfelt story about loss and growth, Jenny must relive the best and worst moments of her almost decade-long relationship with Nate. The series of flashbacks are devastating in many ways. While Rodriguez is the driving force of the movie, she is joined by Brittany Snow and DeWanda Wise, the trio bringing friendship and the art of letting go to viewers. Netflix's Someone Great elicits the deepest ugly cry from anyone fresh from an intense breakup. That said, it also presents a story of hope and moving on that's rooted in the great female friendships women can forge in their lives. The Best of Me 2014. There had to be one Nicholas Sparks movie adaptation on this list, even though they are all the same story with the same formula. Former high school sweethearts Amanda and Dawson reunite decades later in their small southern hometown after the death of a mutual friend. Definitely detested by critics, The Best of Me is a double whammy breakup film as young Amanda and Dawson inevitably break up under devastating circumstances and, like the standard Sparks genre, are unable to be together later in life. The romance film pulls the ugly cry out, particularly when Monahan and Marsden take the screen for the late second, early third act breakup, Amanda sobbing, "I wanted you to hold me." If you're the type to stomach a Sparks adaptation that's not The Notebook, The Best of Me is the perfect pick. 500 Days of Summer 2009. An iconic rom-com, 500 Days of Summer tells the story of the greeting card writer Tom, whose sudden breakup causes him to think about the time he spent together with his now ex-girlfriend Summer. As Tom's bitterness begins to influence the once rosy version of events in his mind, their love story begins to look completely different. The 2009 film, familiar to most millennials, creatively uses nonlinear storytelling to paint a complete portrait of the failing relationship between Tom and Summer. The movie is often credited with the manic pixie dream girl trope, which was misunderstood for quite some time. While it may not drive most viewers to tears, 500 Days' tinge of nostalgia and the undertone of frustration and anger will be relatable for anyone going through a sudden breakup. The Worst Person in the World 2021. Aside from being one of the best coming-of-age movies for more mature viewers, The Worst Person in the World also makes for a fantastic unconventional breakup movie. It revolves around Julie, who starts as a 20-something medical student in a relationship with a much older man. 2 breakups, an unwanted pregnancy, and a tear-jerking death later, and Julie may just understand what it means to be alive. Julie's dissatisfaction with herself and uncertainty around what she wants out of her journey influence her failed relationships in the film, both of which may be all too familiar for viewers who have had to get out of the forced connections they settled for. Her 2013. An award-winning movie by director Spike Jonze, Her is centered on the emotional and thoughtful protagonist Theodore, who writes personal letters for other people for a living. Still reeling from the end of his marriage, Theodore decides to pick up a new operating system, Samantha. He soon finds himself falling in love with the OS. yet another unconventional breakup movie. The 2013 masterpiece is a gripping and poignant tale that highlights the human need for connection, especially in a world where isolation has become the norm. Her combines sci-fi and romance to create a truly unforgettable movie that will resonate with audiences who may feel especially alone after a harsh breakup. The tears may flow by the time the twist ending comes around. Celeste and Jesse Forever, 2012. Celeste and Jesse are the typical high school sweethearts who married young in one of the best heartbreak movies ever, Celeste and Jesse Forever. Celeste is a passionate and ambitious business owner, while Jesse is a more laid-back supportive husband. Now, they second-guess their relationship as greater differences between their priorities and goals make it impossible to align. When things spiral into a divorce, they both begin to doubt their decisions. The rom-com uses humor and wit so well that audiences will never know what hit them when they start ugly crying. For anyone who has had to let go of a long-term relationship, Celeste and Jesse's struggles to accept having to move on from the familiarity and comfort they gave each other will be too painful to watch. Blue Valentine, 2010, painting the image of a crackling marriage. Blue Valentine features career best performances from Ryan Gosling and Michelle Williams. In their modest neighborhood, Dean and Cindy's marriage appears to be normal, but their lives are beginning to spiral as his lack of ambition challenges her efforts to further her nursing career. The film's editing paces out their love story from its inception to their marriage and finally to its downfall. Watching their relationship wilt created an emotional journey for the viewer as they felt what each character felt. Blue Valentine's ability to hit home with the honesty of broken relationships and the individuals trying to survive creates the opportunity for the ugliest of ugly cries when things don't turn out the way they want. Brokeback Mountain, 2005, the epitome of the doomed love story. Brokeback Mountain fits perfectly in the ugly cry genre. Rodeo cowboy Jack and ranch hand Ennis stumble into a romance one night as they tend to a herd of sheep on Brokeback Mountain. The pair keep their on-off affair secret for decades after each marries their respective girlfriends. In a story of hope and desire marred by expectations and fear, Gyllenhaal and Ledger provide top-notch performances as lovers that bring audiences to tears. Nothing is more emotionally provoking than a film where an audience is so desperate for the leads to be together that the consequences when it doesn't come to fruition are devastating and cause the ever-popular ugly cry. Blue is the Warmest Color, 2013. Blue is the Warmest Color is an award-winning romance film that chronicles the love that blossoms between a naive teenager, Adele, who falls for a more experienced art student, Emma. The film spans several years and depicts the highs and lows of their messy relationship, all the way to its heartbreaking ending. A heart-wrenching breakup movie, Blue is the Warmest Color is the perfect pick for audiences who want to remember their first heartbreak. The pain of entering a long-term relationship as a young woman and then leaving it before you realize it's over is perfectly captured in this raw and honest portrait of a relatable character's story. Call Me by Your Name, 2017, drawing parallels to the doomed romance in Brokeback Mountain. Call Me by Your Name brings the same romance arc and meshes it with the burdens of love in a coming-of-age story. 17-year-old Elio is spending the summer of 1983 with his family at their Italian villa when he falls for his father's research assistant Oliver. The critically acclaimed film has become notorious among the saddest breakup movies, as it addresses the issues of self-discovery and the growing pains accompanying it when falling in love. The devastation Elio feels when Oliver leaves and eventually marries a woman is felt by audiences who have experienced the same kind of love and loss. As a young adult, losing that first real love brings on the waterworks to overcome that deeply cut pain. Marriage Story, 2019, dropping viewers in at the end of their love story. Marriage Story illuminates the opposite side of a love story when the ride after the sunset doesn't end in roses and hearts, detailing the messy divorce of Charlie and Nicole Barber as they fight for custody of their son Henry. As Charlie and Nicole struggle to find their way after marrying young, the two engage in journeys of self-discovery as the people they were when they got married are not who they are now. Driver and Johansson masterfully portray a couple who desperately wish they weren't going through this major life change, which many viewers can relate to. La La Land, 2016, whether you want to agree or not, La La Land is a breakup movie and one that didn't punch viewers in the gut until the very end. Mia and Sebastian are just two lost souls trying to make it in modern-day Hollywood. As Sebastian's music career begins to elevate, Mia is still struggling to get herself on the map as an actor. Their worlds collide for better, worse, and soon inspire a good ugly cry. As if it wasn't enough that the romance film is a multi-Oscar winning movie, La La Land went the extra mile and broke the romance genre convention, elevating its status in cinematic history. Stone and Gosling are perfect as the imperfect couple whose love may not be enough of a reason to keep their relationship going. A musical, drama, comedy, romance, and everything in between, Audiences who avoided the film were Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, 2004, taking home an Oscar for its original story. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind demonstrates the drastic nature some will go to move on after a breakup. After a tumultuous relationship, Joel and Clementine undergo a medical procedure that erases their core memories of each other and their relationship. Things do not go according to plan, and viewers are taken on a roller coaster through their relationship's past, present, and future. Joel and Clementine are the type of couple where one half is more extroverted while the other half is introverted, ideally balancing each other out. Their story is one of communication, acceptance, understanding, and hope, albeit an atypical one. A serious role for the iconic funny man, Carey excels as Joel, convincing audiences to root for him and creating devastation amongst viewers as things fall apart. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is the essential breakup movie for anyone who needs to feel it all.